As the debt limit debate is raging on, the GOP is asking for more money for the military. So reporting from Common Dreams, House Republicans are now demanding a military budget even larger than the record $858 billion that Congress has authorized for the current fiscal year, as they continue pushing for steep cuts to key aid programs that people depend on to keep their kids fed, to keep roofs over their head. The powerful defense industry, which donates heavily to Democrats and Republicans, more reporting from Common Dreams, howled in protest earlier this year at the prospect of military spending cuts. Let's not forget that the increase in the military budget is something that Joe Biden has been happy to sign off on. Naturally, people aren't too pleased at these misplaced priorities from someone who ran as a progressive. Let's look at some of these tweets. This is Warren Gunnels. Republicans voted for a $129 million tax refund for Amazon, $1.4 billion in a tax break for the Koch family, $1.8 trillion tax cuts for billionaires. But they want you to believe that the problem is the dude who lost his job at Wendy's getting $6 a day in food stamps so he won't starve. Bernie Sanders then tweeted, Republicans in DC are pushing for a massive increase in the $858 billion Pentagon budget, a $1.8 trillion tax break to people who inherit over $1 billion, and a $3.5 trillion extension of Trump's tax breaks. Oh, did they tell you how very, very concerned they are about the deficit? It's a good point. The deficit is a record of the public dollars that have been put out that have not yet been taxed out. And so these folks are complaining about the budget as if the federal government operates like a household, while they're also giving tax breaks to the rich. Ben, what do you make of all of this?
I mean, with where we are financially for the average family in this country, for anybody, and it's 50% of the country that supports these Republican leaders and keeps reelecting them time and time again, to give a tax break to support that for people who inherit over $1 billion, you have to be so fucking stupid. It is unbelievable. And I really like this new device I've invented where I just self-mute myself during swear words so I can get the feeling of the anger that I'm feeling inside my system without getting us taken off of the air. I enjoy it a great deal, to be honest with you. And I'm gonna keep doing it as long as I need to. On the flip side, I do see their argument. $6 is a lot to spend at Wendy's. What, are they expecting people on SNAP to be able to afford both a sandwich and a drink? It's like, choose, dude. We gotta give tax cuts to billionaires. Get off your high horse. Sandwich one day, drink the next. We ain't got time for no Frosties. They're too thick to slurp up through a straw anyway. Get off of your dreams.
Yeah, and all of that money of the Pentagon, it's very important we give it to them because they do such a good job. If we gave them less dollars, what would happen? Maybe they would make mistakes and a bunch of civilians would die. Oh, that's already happening with the $858 billion we're giving them?
Yes, and I know you're about to transition into the next story with that great transition line, but I'm not gonna let you do it yet because I have one other point to make about that. And it was a great transition, and I'm sorry, but it's so insane that they're now clamoring, these Republicans, for increasing the military budget in the last moments of this standoff. Because not only do we have the most insanely bloated military budget in the world, bigger than the next 5 countries combined, but we have such overwhelming military force. And as we all know, we have thousands of nuclear weapons. I've advocated forever that it would actually make us a lot stronger. And this might be the way you could actually finally get through the heads of these meat-headed defense forward Republicans. We'd actually be a stronger, tougher, more badass nation if we significantly cut our military budget. Why? Because all that would mean is that we would have less low-level weapons. We would have less of the less lethal, less catastrophic ensuing weapons, and our only choice if anybody messed with us would be to use the bigger weapons. We got nukes, that's all we got left. Back off, people. It would make us scarier as a nation. So just to give all this money so we have the ability for people to mess with us on a lower scale makes no sense whatsoever. But of course, logic does not seem to be the strong suit of anybody on the right these days.
No, devoid of logic entirely. I want to jump to graphic 10, which is from the Brookings Institution about the civilian deaths at the hands of the US military. So according to the Bureau of Investigative Journalism, US strikes in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Somalia, and Yemen from 2002 to 2020 killed between 10,000 and 17,000 people. Of these, between 800 and 1,750 are thought to have been civilians. So all of our investment in military technology, you'd think that we'd do a better job actually hitting the target. It's absurd how much money we spend and how many of the casualties are civilians. It's absolutely ridiculous.